Welcome to Monday Night Raw to WrestlePalooza tonight in Austin, Texas, in which we're going to hear from the greatest of all time, the World Heavyweight Champion, the man who turned his back on not only the fans, but also what he stood for at WrestleMania to become the 17-time World Champion, the most world title reigns of anyone in history, and that man is the man who shut us says you can't stop me, and that is John Cena. You can hear the chorus of boos. John Cena no stranger to this, but he's even stronger, as you can see by the back of his shirt, due to his attitude adjustment, pun intended, that he went through at WrestleMania to defeat CM Punk, who was that World Heavyweight Champion, and will cheat to win that title. And since then, Cena's been doing the exact same, cheating to win every matchup, underhanded tactics, and using weapons or anything that he can do to keep hold of that title. Well, Cena here tonight, well, out here to, I guess, give us some words of wisdom, I guess you could say. Let's see what a World Heavyweight Champion had to say here to kick off Monday Night Raw. And well, it seems that before Cena can even get some words out, an old, well, rival is out here. The man who won his first World Championship by putting Cena for a table all the way back in 2011 at Extreme Rules in his rookie year. And that is the man who puts on banger after banger in the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. And while Cena doesn't look too best pleased seeing Sheamus walk down to the ring, we've seen Sheamus putting some bangers in the past couple of months with the likes of Ilya Dragunov, Bronson Reed, etc. And Sheamus tonight, well, maybe wants one more world title shot before his career comes to a close. Sheamus knows he's not got long left, similar to Cena in his career. But the question is tonight, is that what he's out here for? Or is something else on the mind of Sheamus? Let's find out as these two old rivals are here going face to face. Kick off Monday Night Raw for the first time in a long time. Oi, Cena, I've been watching you run around here with that title slung over your shoulder, like acting like you've earned it, but let's be real. Let's get down to what actually is the truth. You're only the champion because you cheat your way out of every fight you can't win straight. You used to stand for something, fella. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. Remember that? But now it's low blows, distractions, steel chairs, and excuses. You turned your back on every single person who ever believed in you, and most importantly, you turned your back on yourself. These people used to chant your name, and now they're seeing the truth that John Cena's not a hero anymore. He's a coward, hiding behind his own ego. And you and me, we've been through a lot of wars together. Remember TLC 2009, fella? I put you through a table and took that WWE title, and I never can do it again. So how about, at No Mercy, John Cena versus Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship, and this time, no tricks, no excuses, just a fight, but the same outcome. I beat you for the title. You know, it's funny, Sheamus, I hear you talking about cheating, about honour, about how I turned my back on the fans and myself. But what I hear is a man desperate to feel relevant again. You want to talk about history, about TLC 2009, and that you, a rookie, got lucky. Since then, I've broken records, head on a WrestleMania characters, company on my back, and you, what have you done? You've been on the injury list, you've been in tag team duty and sitting backstage hoping somebody remembers your name. And you called me a coward, but the truth is, you're washed up. You had your moment and it passed a long time ago. You're not the Celtic Warrior anymore, Sheamus. You're just a failure looking for one more shot at the spotlight. But you know what? I'm going to give you it. You want the match? You've got it. Me and you for the World Heavyweight Championship. Just don't cry when I prove you don't belong in my ring anymore. Now, more after that heated exchange between Sheamus and John Cena to start Monday Night Raw, we continue our show, our first matchup of the night with Chad Gable in action, still part of the Alpha Academy, so the devil on his shoulder for the past couple of months, trying to get Chad Gable to turn to the dark side that he sees in Chad Gable, that people apparently see Chad Gable has, and focus on himself and achieve what he needs to achieve in his career. And the longer he keeps asserting himself with Alpha Academy, you keep losing, the longer he's going to be seen as a bit part player here in WWE and the loser himself. And I see someone like Chad Gable with the talent of Chad Gable, the work ethic of Chad Gable, wants to achieve great things in this industry. But people believe as long as Chad Gable keeps focusing his attention on the Alpha Academy, then he's going to keep falling and falling and falling, and most importantly, keep losing and losing. But let's see who Gable's taking on here tonight at the start of Monday Night Raw. And it's going to be Dragon Lee. And I should tell you that this matchup is an intercontinental number one contendership match. The winner of this one will go forth to face Penta for the IC title at our next PLE. And well, this matchup is going to be great. Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable promises to be an instant classic. Just imagine the matchup we're going to see. We've seen Penta beat Chad Gable before, and Chad Gable lost that matchup. He looked like he was going to be on his way to victory. He had a darker look in his eyes. He was ready to break the ankle of Penta if needed, and Otis distracted him inadvertently. And then Penta got back into the matchup, hit the Mexican Destroyer into the Penta driver and retained the title. And that is the moment people have seen that Otis and the rest of Alpha Academy are going to keep holding back Gable. He could have been RC champion if it wasn't for Otis at ringside. Otis didn't mean to distract and obviously cost Chad Gable the matchup. He was just trying to give him some words of encouragement and words of wisdom for the matchup to keep going. But just imagine the matchup: Dragon Lee v Penta, two luchadors, two of the very best luchadors in the whole industry, fighting for the RC championship. Well, let's get this one underway here in a second. Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable promises to be incredible here to start off the show. What a crowd chanting Gable's name. The question is that going to help Gable get focused, or is that going to be a detriment to him here tonight? As you can see, no Alpha Academy at ringside for Gable here tonight, and Gable straight into the wrestling side of the game. As we know, Gable is a former Olympian. He's going to win this part of the matchup very easily as it gets trying to tweak the shoulder of Dragon Lee. And Dragon Lee is not well versed. He's versed enough to hang in the ring with most people, but some of the caliber of Chad Gable, when it comes to mat holds and wrestling, they're not going to Dragon Lee is not going to really be able to get going in this one when it comes to this side of the game. But Chad Gable, they're caught by the quickness of Dragon Lee there. They're stuck in the leaf and wrenching back the arm himself. As Dragon Lee now with the arm wrenches Gable though. Fireman carry takedown and into working on the shoulder again here. This is great work from Chad Gable in this one. Staying focused and staying on top of the game that he's known for, and keeping the matchup in his lane. He needs to stop Dragon Lee, get into the high flying offense as Gable again takes him out, takes him here with the arm wrench behind the back as Dragon Lee's in a bad way here, tweaking the elbow, tweaking the arm and the wrist here as Dragon Lee, the fireman carry himself here. While starting this matchup, we're seeing they're both men holding their own here, and Gable getting a little bit surprised about Dragon Lee when it comes to the wrestling game. He's able to stay in this one as Gable fights out of it with some punches to the midsection there. And Gable staying focused there. Grabs Dragon Lee, looking for an exploder suplex. Dragon Lee out of it, and Dragon Lee though getting the quick pace offense already here. We're set out foot over powerbomb into the cover. Well, what a quick start it's been to this one here tonight. We're only just over a minute and a half into the matchup, and we've already seen one of Dragon Lee's biggest maneuvers, that sit out foot over powerbomb. That's Dragon Lee though caught by Gable, hoists him up and catches him with an uppercut there. He's going to rock the luchador to the very corner. Lights may be on, but no one's home right now for Dragon Lee after that huge uppercut there. Let's give it now. Staying on the attack with some huge punches to the face, looking for a kick. Dragon Lee catches him with a super kick. Impressive there from Dragon Lee. Just lifting Gable up and over the top. And Gable kicks out just about to keep the matchup alive for himself there. Well, Dragon Lee, I think, surprised a few people here tonight. It's an STO takedown there. And Dragon Lee shooting star press. He has the quickness again. But there's Gable again kicking out to keep himself in this one. And like I was saying, I think Dragon Lee's surprised a few people in the opening going into this matchup here. And Gable now. Body stunned nearby. Well, Dragon Lee keeping it simple but effective. Going to the wrestling game. I check Gable himself there. It's Gable now with the DDT there. Talking about simple but effective. Dropping your opponent flat on the top of the head there. That was Chad Gable now looking to float him over the top there. Doesn't do much damage to your opponent, but that is more of a statement from Gable in this one. To regain control of the matchup. There's Gable now. What's he thinking? That's looking for Exploder. German suplex, but Dragon Lee fights out over the top there and lands it, flips out of it and lands it on his feet. That was impressive there from Dragon Lee. And Gable seems flustered in the opening going into this one as Dragon Lee hoists him up and drops him down. And while Gable is not looking good here, it's Dragon Lee might be looking to put this one away. Middle of the ring. Could it be a quick night for Dragon Lee hitting out to head to face Penta for the IC title? But Gable stays just in this one. And crowd trying to fight forever. These two might not fight forever because this matchup could be over pretty soon as Gable hoisted up here by Dragon Lee looking for a brainbuster maybe here. But Gable slips at the back and goes after the leg here. Well, there's a look in the eyes of Gable now as this matchup almost slipped away from him right now as Gable working on the ankle and the leg set of Dragon Lee. And maybe this is the darker side of Gable coming out right now. Staying focused, picking off the ankle, looking for the ankle a lot deep, more late into at some point in this matchup here. As Gable just constantly going after the ankle and the leg here of Dragon Lee, which is also going to take out the high-flying offense. Obviously the striking offense as well, Dragon Lee. As Gable now looking for a deadlift German suplex, but Dragon Lee out of the way, and Dragon Lee with a drop kick there. And Dragon Lee knew the danger there, had to get out of that one and keep this match alive for himself. As Gable now hoisted on the top rope. What a great start it's been for Dragon Lee in this matchup, 5 minutes into it or so. As Dragon Lee now top rope, looking for an avalanche Hurricane Rana. And Gable now putting himself up on the ropes at that huge crash and burn as Dragon Lee sending Gable to ringside. What a performance we've seen from Dragon Lee in this matchup here. As Dragon Lee now looking to fly up and over the top of a tope on Hilo there. And this is a star-making performance from Dragon Lee. This may be the best performance we've seen from Dragon Lee since he came into WWE. He's looking to make a statement here tonight. He wants to go to face Penta for the IC Championship, but first he has to get through Gable, who doesn't seem or fully focused tonight. It's Gable that catches him now, and a huge pat on there from Gable. That's just going to drive with a wind at the lungs of Dragon Lee after that as Gable here. What's he thinking there? Gable now. Oh, nasty look at his eyes, looking to break the ankle here of the luchador. And you can see, just look at the eyes of Gable. Something's changed, something's snapped. And Gable has lost it here. He knew the matchup was about to be lost. And Gable now just turning to the dark side here. We're seeing that he has. And they're staying relentlessly here. Just look at the eyes of Chad Gable. Something's changed, you can tell. Something has changed in the mindset of Gable as this matchup's gone on. As Gable now. Something in there, Gable though. Out the way with Dragon Lee there. And Dragon Lee looking for a flash knee strike, but Chad Gable gets out of the way. Dragon Lee's knee strike there. And Gable now just driving Dragon Lee into the corner here. What is Gable thinking next here? And Dragon Lee again. The ankle being worked on here by Chad Gable. This is a dissecting of Dragon Lee this deep into the matchup here. It's like I said, something has changed in the mindset of Chad Gable as this matchup went on. As Gable now, double underhook, sit out, powerbomb here. Notice that Gable was not going for pinfalls. Usually Gable would go for a pinfall to maneuver of that impact, but Gable was staying on the assault here of Dragon Lee. Just driving it relentlessly into the mat here. Well, Dragon Lee's in a bad way, and Gable with a huge boot right across the mask there. And I don't know what's changing the mindset of Gable right now, but whatever it is, Gable looking to put this one away here, looking to cliffhanger DDT. Head to face Penta for the IC Championship for a second time. But Dragon Lee stays in this one, just about there. And Gable's got to be wondering what more he has to do after that huge cliffhanger DDT. And Gable just, something snapped here. Something has changed. I keep saying it, but something has definitely changed in the mindset of Chad Gable. After he almost lost this matchup here. As Gable punched in the face. What is Gable thinking next here? With Dragon Lee on the top rope. Gable here looking for an exploder belly-to-belly suplex off the top. And what a matchup we're seeing here tonight between these two. As Dragon Lee catches him though. And Dragon Lee now off the ropes. But we're looking for that knee strike, but no one's home super kick. Gable catches the leg. And Dragon Lee enziguri. Well, Dragon Lee had to get out of the way of that one there. But Gable kicked to the back of the leg there. And Gable now looking for a knee strike of his own, but Dragon Lee out of the way. And Dragon Lee now sending Gable into the corner here What's Dragon Lee got planned next? Kick to the face. And Dragon Lee now looking to go top rope, but Gable wisely rolling into the ring apron here. As he experiences Chad Gable coming into play right there. So Dragon Lee looking for the drop kick and sends him crashing to the mat there. Or crashing to the ringside area, I should say. So Dragon Lee looking for looking for a cross body. But Dragon Lee just crashed and burned at ringside. And Gable sending Dragon Lee into the barricade there. Well, usually Gable wouldn't do that. Gable will try to get this match up won as cleanly as possible. He just used the ringside area to his advantage there. Did Chad Gable, there's Gable here. Punch to the face of Dragon Lee. He's in a bad way here, and Dragon Lee now in the corner getting his face driven into the turnbuckle pad, and that's just busted up, and Dragon Lee under the mask, I believe. And Gable here looking for the chaos. Theory roll through, drops him down. But Gable's not done. That's Chad Gable now. What's he thinking next? In the middle of the ring. Gable with just a northern light suplex there, planting Dragon Lee down. And Gable next. I think where he wants in the middle of the ring. Nowhere to go for Dragon Lee. Think about all the damage that's been done to the ankle throughout this matchup here. As Gable now tweaking the ankle here. And Dragon Lee's in a bad way. And Dragon Lee here was screaming in agony as Gable just releases the hold for some reason. As Gable now picks the ankle again, locking in a second variation. More talk on this version. As you can see, putting more tweak on the ankle as Gable, as Dragon Lee in a bad way, and Dragon Lee has to tap to save his career. Dragon Lee's ankle may be broken, if not severely damaged, but before Gable snapped and went to a different side of himself, what a performance that was from Dragon Lee. He almost had the match at one inside the first 3 or 4 minutes. And while Dragon Lee tonight has massively impressed, but maybe that's been outshined by the darkness we just saw from Chad Gable. That's what we saw. That's what I alluded to. That he's shown in that match with Penta. Right, what we saw right at the end there. The relentlessness of Chad Gable just to keep going up until your opponent submits or you snap the ankle. One of the two. And right here was a moment I thought Dragon Lee had the match at one, but Gable stayed in it. And right here Gable will hit the cliffhanger DDT. And this was a moment that could have been the end of the matchup here, right in the middle of the ring. But Dragon Lee managed to get the shut up just about here. As you can see, the 1, the 2, but not the 3, just in time there. As Gable, this is a big moment in this matchup here. Gable rolled to ringside, then that was a crash and burn at ringside for Dragon Lee, who was then driven into the barricade at ringside, then hit with the Chaos Theory, middle of the ring, high across the back of the neck there. And Gable was not done. Locked in, not 1, but 2 ankle locks. And you can see right here, look at the torque of the ankle, look at the bend of the ankle. And Gable is headed to face Penta for the IC Championship. But this is the new Gable possibly we just saw here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, joined backstage by the eradicated the former Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley. And tonight, Rhea, you face Raquel Rodriguez inside a steel cage match in the main event. I just want to hear how you're feeling going into that match after being injured for 8 months. The Judgment Day turned their back on you, and Raquel was the reason you were injured. So, Rhea, if it's not too much to ask, how are you feeling going into the match tonight? Well, Baron, I was out for 8 months. 8 long months of pain of watching why they thought I was gone, watching why they thought they could write my story without me. Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, you all thought you broke me. You thought betrayal was enough to stop me, but you were wrong. Last week I came back and I sent a warning. Dominic learned the hard way. But tonight's a lot bigger. Tonight's not about warnings, it's about payback. Raquel, you're stepping inside a steel cage and there's no escape tonight. There's no betrayal, there's only me and the reckoning you started after WrestleMania. Judgment Day took everything from me, but they forgot one thing. That Rhea Ripley never stays down, and tonight in that steel cage I make them pay. I make Liv Morgan, Judgment Day, Raquel Rodriguez. You all better be ready because the nightmare you unleashed comes home. And this isn't about what happened after WrestleMania. This is about one thing, the world title. Liv, after tonight, there's no one standing in my way. No one. And I'm coming for you and my Women's World Championship. And well, after that interview with Rhea Ripley, Sheamus is making his way back out here, not for a promo, but for in-ring competition. After those words with John Cena earlier tonight, he went backstage to Adam Pearce and asked for a matchup here tonight to prepare himself for when he believes he's going to be taking on John Cena. And while Sheamus tonight is looking to put down another banger like he's been doing every time he's in in-ring competition. And as Sheamus is looking to get back to John Cena. Well, I misspoke earlier tonight. I meant to say TLC 2009 for when Sheamus defeated John Cena to win the WWE Championship inside a tables match. Now, briefly did face at Extreme Rules in 2011, and while Sheamus was on a poster for that show, that's why that came into my mind at the time. And Sheamus tonight is looking to put in a banger before our main event, which is going to be Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez inside a steel cage match, which promises to be a banger in itself. But let's see who Sheamus is up against here tonight. And well, there's going to be a battle of the Brits, the Irishman versus the Englishman, the Celtic Warrior versus a bruiserweight in Pete Dunne. He's been putting on bangers of his own right here in WWE for a long period of time now. So he challenged Roman Reigns a few years ago now for the WWE Championship at the time, and came up short not only because of bloodline interference. Well, that was mainly the reason, but also he pushed Reigns to his limits in that one and proved that given the opportunity, Pete Dunne can hang with the very best. And well, the people that have been watching Pete Dunne for a long period of time know that. And tonight, Pete Dunne v Sheamus here tonight in this one promises to be a banger between these two. And this is even a main event. We've got a steel cage match to come between, well, like I said, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. But a match before that is Pete Dunne versus Sheamus. And earlier tonight we had, well, Chad Gable versus Dragon Lee. That was a great matchup as well. I mean, spoiled for action here tonight. And Pete Dunne is looking to get into winning ways and defeat Sheamus here on Raw. But Sheamus is going to prove that he should get another shot at Cena by beating that man Pete Dunne here tonight. Let's get this one underway. And what I will be going in this one, and was it these two were part of the Brawling Brutes together. And while Pete Dunne maybe it's telling Sheamus there's no familiarity between the two right now. This one's all about business here tonight, and Pete Dunne looking to get a big victory for himself. If he can put away Sheamus, and he can throw his hat into the race, and maybe being an opponent for John Cena and the World Heavyweight Championship. I said it would be a big moment for Pete Dunne doing so. Like I mentioned previously, it wasn't that long ago since he faced Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship at the time, and came up short in that moment. As well, Pete Dunne here with a roll up on Sheamus out of nowhere, and almost got the job done just like that. And Pete Dunne just telling Sheamus to bring it in. Pete Dunne with a slap there across the face of Sheamus, and that has riled up Sheamus here. We know these two like to have fights in the ring. They're taking wrestling matches as a brawl between these two here tonight. And Sheamus with a pop-up power slam there to gain control of this one, using the power there was Sheamus. As that Pete Dunne up on the shoulders of Sheamus there, looking for a fireman's carry roll for there, but Pete Dunne with a reverse DDT. The Sheamus here, we'll see Sheamus here tonight is looking to get a victory so that he can go on to prove that he should be an opponent for John Cena in that World Heavyweight Championship, like he said earlier tonight that he wants to do. And well, Pete Dunne here, joint manipulation from Pete Dunne there. And Sheamus is rocked after that one as Pete Dunne again. Double footstep no to the arm that he just worked on as well. And Dunne now going out to the legs from the power. The base of the power of Sheamus as Pete Dunne here just relentlessly attacking the limbs. This is the best of Pete Dunne that we're seeing right now. That's done now. And give it in to go, but Sheamus out the way, and Sheamus looking for something big. But Pete Dunne out the way, well, gets that reversal there. And Pete Dunne now into a lock up here with Sheamus. These two jostling for power in this one here tonight. You give the power advantage to Sheamus here, and the speed advantage to Pete Dunne. Maybe the striking advantage to Pete Dunne in the way. Definitely the joint manipulation to Pete Dunne. And Sheamus now have a headlock, but Pete Dunne again looking to work on the joints there of Sheamus there, looking to yank back on the wrist and the shoulder here of Sheamus, as well as the elbow. And Sheamus though returns it the favour here. And with an arm wrench behind the back of Pete Dunne here. These two jostling, like I mentioned, for power in this one to gain control of the matchup. As Pete Dunne with some forearms, well, elbows to the face there, and Dunne now kick to the leg, and a roundhouse kick there to Sheamus. That's done now. Looking for a triangle choke, middle of the ring. This has been a great showcase of Pete Dunne's abilities so far in this one. And Sheamus found a way out of this one now. And Sheamus with a powerless Pete Dunne up there and gets just about to a vertical base. Maybe the damage could have been done there to Sheamus on the arm and obviously the throat. But Sheamus here, a huge European uppercut there, dropping Pete Dunne with that one. And Sheamus now with a huge clothesline. Pete Dunne on the way, looking for that stop again. Sheamus into his back with a huge right hand, and there's a huge clothesline. Well, Pete Dunne riling up Sheamus in this one, for better or for worse. And Sheamus now with a trifecta of Irish curse. Backbreakers to Pete Dunne here to gain control of the matchup. That's one way to do it. Hit 3 of your best shots. And Sheamus now off the ropes here, looking to catch Pete Dunne here. A total backbreaker for good measure. Well, Pete Dunne, why is he not going into the apron? Just pulling himself up into the ropes, and Pete Dunne off the ropes here with a monkey flip there to Sheamus, catching Sheamus off guard there, and again looking to script the boot across the face of Sheamus there, and looking for a drop kick to the back of the neck. And Pete Dunne now working on the midsection, and a forearm right across the eyes there. As Pete Dunne's looking good in this one. See no love lost between these two. Like I said, they used to be part of the Brawling Brutes together. That's a long time ago for these two. And Pete Dunne is going to get back to who he used to be, and that is a bruiserweight as Sheamus turns it around here. Sheamus now with a huge European uppercut, rocking Pete Dunne down into the corner. And Sheamus now caught by Pete Dunne, kicked there to the back. And Pete Dunne now with a huge clothesline of his own there, putting everything behind that one, dropping Sheamus to the mat. It's Pete Dunne now again, sending the assault, looking to work on the arm here, looking to snap back on the wrist. Oh, Sheamus there. And well, Pete Dunne looking good in this one so far. It's Pete now, looking to work on again with another triangle choke variation here, but rope break caught there by the referee. Just as a call. Well, Pete Dunne not too sure about that one. And it was rope break, but Sheamus out of the way of it. And Sheamus with a bicycle knee strike out of nowhere. Connects Pete Dunne flush there with that one. But Dunne kicks out of it and keeps the matchup alive for himself there. Well, Pete Dunne looking pretty good in this one so far, and Sheamus trying to get back into this matchup here. Pete Dunne's been, well, wisely going after the body as Sheamus working on the joints, working on the midsection, and keeping a big man grinder for most of the matchup. But Sheamus getting back into this one here. And an axe handle to the back of Pete Dunne. And a drop and a knee there to the back of the bruiserweight, and Sheamus now with a strength gut wrench. Powerbomb there to Pete Dunne. And well, Sheamus getting fired up in this one, getting the crowd behind him. And this is where the best of Sheamus comes out. Deep in matchups that will become bangers. And Pete Dunne slips at the back of the fireman's carry, roll through again, no. And gets him there with another reverse DDT. And again, scripts the boot across the face of Sheamus here. And Pete Dunne wants to finger. Pete Dunne lines him up with a drop kick there to the face. Gets everything behind that one. And Pete Dunne now kick to the midsection. Wants to finger there. Pete Dunne hoists him up and sits him down there. With a little shout out to Tyler Bate. With a Tyler driver 97. Well, Pete Dunne looking to put this one away now. Fought him to the face, looking for the bitter end in the middle of the ring. Is that enough to put away his former tag team partner in Sheamus? It is not. But somehow, some way, Sheamus stays in this one. But the crowd showing their appreciation for this matchup, saying fight it forever. So Pete Dunne with a slap there to the face of Sheamus, asking Sheamus to bring it in. Sheamus does so, a gut punch there. And these two now exchanging shots in the middle of the ring. Well, these two, this is what they love the most. This is what they do it for. These moments, deep in a matchup, where you give your opponent everything you got left, and just punch the hell out of each other in the middle of the ring. And this one's not been a wrestling match, this has been a fight between these two. This has been a brawl, a pub brawl, if you could say. As these two exchanging shots here. Sheamus again caught there by Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne now blocked by Sheamus. These two know each other so well. And Sheamus asking Pete Dunne to bring it, and these two are going to do so. The question is, who's going to win the exchange of pack? Sheamus in this, and Sheamus does win the exchange. And Sheamus hoists up Pete Dunne, looking for white noise. Is that all she wrote? But Dunn somehow kicks out there at 2.99, and Sheamus here was sign of respect for his former tag team partner, and Pete Dunne catches him there, and Pete Dunne with a bro kick of his own into the cover. But Sheamus kicks out. That may have been the last gasp effort of Pete Dunne here, looking for, well, went for a bro kick there and got all of it, and Sheamus catches him. Then Sheamus now back in control, knee to the midsection, axe handle to the back. But Sheamus looking for a clothesline and gets it there, and Sheamus just throwing haymakers. And with Pete Dunne, that is not where you want to be when you're in the ring with Sheamus there. Sheamus just pulls him back into the ring, actually not going for the 10 beats of the Bodhrán like he would do normally. And Sheamus now looks for an axe handle, Pete Dunne out of the way, and Dunne now with a huge chop, looking for another better aim. Sheamus catches it though, and Sheamus hoists him up this time, looking for another fireman's carry roll for, and gets it this time. Well, Sheamus in control of this matchup now, and Pete Dunne in the corner. What is Sheamus thinking here? And Sheamus now, what is he going to throw? Pete Dunne up and over the top there. What a matchup we're seeing between these two here tonight. And Sheamus now looking for a fall-away slam to Pete Dunne. Just going through the motions of Sheamus deep in this matchup. So the Walt forming on the idea of Sheamus after a huge shot from Pete Dunne earlier in the matchup, looking for the Alabama Summer now. Is Sheamus going for all the, well, like I say, the motions, putting out those big manoeuvres. As I'm looking to stomp on the leg there of Pete Dunne. As Sheamus now is thinking next there. Sheamus with Pete Dunne, kick to the midsection. This matchup's been a banger between these two. It's been a hard fought affair. As Sheamus now with Pete Dunne on the top rope. As Sheamus now punch to the face. With Pete Dunne on top. What is Sheamus thinking here? Might be thinking, yes he is, thinking avalanche. White noises to Pete Dunne to put this one away. Will this be enough to put away Pete Dunne? Hooks leg into the cover. But no. Pete Dunne somehow again kicks out. And Sheamus again standing the assault. There were some punches to the face of Pete Dunne. The stomp to the midsection. And Sheamus now looking to put this one away. Perhaps thinking bro kick, and gets it. But Sheamus calling Pete Dunne back to his feet, and Pete Dunne is, well, the lights are on but no one's home right now, and Pete Dunne caught with a second bro kick, and that's going to be it. That's going to be all she wrote. A sign of respect there from Sheamus. And Pete Dunne putting a great affair but loses here tonight in a banger with Sheamus. Oh, what a matchup that was between these two. Pete Dunne almost got the job done early on with this roll up here. It would have been a short matchup if that was the case, with Sheamus with a trifecta of Irish Coast backbreakers there. The Pete Dunne fairly earlier in the matchup. Well, what a matchup this was between these two. Pushing each other to their limits in this one. And what a moment this matchup changed, I think, was after Pete Dunne kicked out of the avalanche. White noise at the top rope. I think Sheamus at that point, well, he had respect for Pete Dunne to begin with. Going into this matchup, he knew how good Pete Dunne was. He tagged with him for a period of time in the Brawl in Brutes. He knew how good Pete Dunne is. And right after the title drive at 97, and right here, the bitter end, this was almost enough to put away Sheamus. But somehow the Irishman kicked out, as you'll see, right there just before the hand hit the three. Well, these two punching the hell out of each other at that moment in time, and Sheamus hitting the white noise, the first one anyway, that he thought would be enough to put away the bruiserweight. But somehow Pete Dunne kicked out, as you'll see, I believe, right here. Now that was after that. Pete Dunne just kicked out there, and this was the final nail in the coffin, middle of the ring. The second bro kick, and to one hell of a matchup between these two here. Well, Pete Dunne, there's nothing to be ashamed about here tonight. He put in a great matchup, but Sheamus wins. And could Sheamus do the same against John Cena? Well, I guess we're going to find out in the coming weeks. And what it's time for a main event earlier today, and as we know, it's going to be a steel cage match between Raquel Rodriguez, who's a native to Texas, so she's going to get an ovation here tonight, but not one louder than who her opponent is going to be. It's going to be the eradicated of Nightmare Rhea Ripley, who we heard from earlier tonight. Tonight she said that every month she's been out injured, she's been planning on what she wants to do to Raquel Rodriguez, who cost her those months of her career with that Hana bomb on the concrete in the parking lot 8 months ago. It's mental that was that long ago at WrestleMania. Raquel Rodriguez tonight, well, she's got a smile on her face tonight. That's because, well, she's probably been planning with the Judgment Day backstage. We saw Dirty Dom at a car when Raquel Rodriguez came into the arena. But the question is Liv Morgan here tonight? Last time we saw Liv Morgan, she ran away from Rhea Ripley. That was when Dirty Dom got hit by a Riptide when Rhea returned. And in that moment, Liv Morgan ran away and left Dom to the wolves, per se. And while Raquel Rodriguez tonight, you can see the demeanor changed right there. She's all about business now, instead of steel cage match. As Rhea Bloody Ripley makes her way down to the ring. This is her first matchup since WrestleMania. She's been out injured for 8 whole months. And tonight, I think we're going to see a new Rhea Bloody Ripley. You see the eyes of Rhea more focused, more cold, more calculated than ever. Think about it. 8 months she's been sat at home watching Liv Morgan run around with that championship, watching Raquel Rodriguez and the rest of the Judgment Day mock Rhea Ripley on social media everywhere it's been going on. And Rhea had to just sit back and soak it all in and wait till she was cleared. And we saw that. She made a return, got revenge on Dirty Dom with that Riptide on the ramp, and then Liv Morgan ran away. And Rhea said, "You can run, but you can't hide, Liv. I'll get to you sooner rather than later." And this is, I guess, Liv Morgan's final defense for Rhea Ripley. If Raquel Rodriguez can defeat Rhea here inside the steel cage, then Rhea will have to go to the back of the queue for that Women's World Heavyweight Championship. But if she wins, then Liv Morgan has nowhere else to go other than facing this woman who the Judgment Day betrayed the turn to Liv Morgan at WrestleMania. Rhea walked in champion. Rhea walked in believing the Judgment Day were by her side, and she had to watch as the Judgment Day betrayed her and came down with Liv Morgan in a shocking moment. And well, you can hear the crowd tonight chanting, "Rhea's going to kill you," and that may be the case, as well. These two have a lot of history, and Raquel Rodriguez did not seem too psyched out about this one as Raquel now. But Rhea pushes her away here. The strength of Rhea Ripley that's on display right now as Rhea pulls her up and drops her down. Rhea now straight into the ground and pounding Raquel Rodriguez. This one is still cage matchup. However, rules that have been changed from the usual. There is no escaping the cage here tonight. This one needs a definitive pinfall or submission inside the middle of the ring. As Rhea with the choke bomb there to Raquel. Raquel with the strength of her own here tonight. Raquel Rodriguez was seen as impressed in action, especially in triple threat matches recently. And Raquel tonight maybe, as Rhea though uses momentum against her there, drops her down on her back there, and she will look to a follow-away suplex as Rhea kicked there, caught by Raquel Rodriguez again. There's Raquel, shot to the midsection and one there to the ribs, driving under the wind up the lungs of Rhea Ripley right there. Watch Raquel Rodriguez, and we've got to imagine the rest of the Judgment they were planning something backstage with Raquel Rodriguez on how she could win this matchup, telling her the weaknesses of Rhea Ripley. Go after the injury of Rhea Ripley of that shoulder. You can see being driven repeatedly into the steel cage of Rhea. Is caught between the cage and the ropes. That's a huge boot just ricocheting Rhea's head off the cage and the boot of Raquel Rodriguez. And Rhea just about comes to there to keep the matchup alive. As that could have been all she wrote right there as Raquel finally looking for close on Rhea either way. And Rhea with a huge super kick there. A great equalizer right there for Rhea Ripley. As Rhea now looking to have some foot of her own, sending Raquel Rodriguez into the steel. And Raquel wisely crawls out of it though, just about. But straight back into the path of Rhea Ripley. That's the issue. In a match like this, there's nowhere to go from your opponent. You're just constantly having to keep going back to them. Otherwise, you're going to get sent back into the steel repeatedly. As Rhea still in the attack, you're looking for a huge Northern Light suplex there. Impressive there from Rhea Ripley with ease. She delivered that move to Raquel Rodriguez. So Rhea now sending Raquel again into the steel cage for a second time. As Raquel again They're having to get back into the ring to face Rhea Ripley. It's being driven into the steel as Rhea off the ropes here. Looking for a drop kick, but there is Raquel Rodriguez swatting that one away there. As Raquel with a choke bomb of her own to Rhea Ripley. And Raquel now hoists her up here onto the shoulders. What's Rhea thinking? Well, Raquel Rodriguez thinking, dropping Rhea face first into the steel. Or some of the steel may have gone into the eyes of Rhea Ripley. She may not be seeing straight right now. As Raquel again showing the relentlessness to drive Rhea again into the steel. You can imagine that the rest of the Judgment Day are laughing at this one backstage, especially like Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Raquel now of Rhea in a bad way here. Sends her off the ropes, so catches her, spins her around and drops her down there. Impressive strength there by Raquel Rodriguez, as always, as Rhea. Well, Raquel looking for a huge shot there, but Rhea out the way. And Rhea now looking for the headbutt, and Raquel dropped right on the spot there with the headbutt there. As Rhea now looking for a German suplex, but Raquel recovers in time there, just about to get away that one. As Raquel caught by Rhea though, up into the shoulders. Raquel was looking for that decapitating clothesline. As Rhea though, going to launch Raquel into the steel this time. Well, this matchup ain't going to be for faint of heart, as you can tell by this matchup so far. This is going to be a hard-fought, bloody affair. You imagine that some blood is going to appear at some point as Raquel catches herself and turns Rhea, or stops Rhea with a kick there. As Rhea caught by Raquel Rodriguez with a huge drop kick there. As Raquel now of Rhea drives her face first into the steel underneath that turnbuckle pad there, and looking to drive her face first again into the steel there. Now rocks her with a huge forearm shot. Raquel might be thinking about putting this one away here. Looking for the twisting corkscrew sent on into the cover, hooks the leg. But Rhea kicks out at two there. Raquel Rodriguez is going to be thinking, what more do I have to do to put away Rhea Ripley? Well, the Honor Bomb's an option for her. And also utilising the steel cage for more effectiveness here tonight. Both of them are just... Well, these two were once considered each other friends in their career. That is the shocking thing. These two were once good friends. As Raquel, huge knee across the face of Rhea Ripley. As Rhea's in a bad way here. It's Raquel in the corner, has Rhea again. Might be thinking for a twist and corkscrew centered again, but Rhea out of the way. And Rhea takes her down there with a spear. Out of desperation more than anything there from Rhea Ripley, I imagine that was. It's Rhea now with a German suplex. And Rhea with a huge knee of her own there. And Rhea now once again back into the ground and pound. Notice how these two women are constantly just staying on the assault here. These two women know what's up for grabs here tonight. Think about it. Rhea Ripley, she wants to face Liv Morgan and try to regain her Women's World Heavyweight Championship. She has to defeat Raquel here tonight, who I think she just busted open using the steel. And you just saw a slight smile across the face of Rhea Ripley. A sinister smile. One similar to Art the Clown, I guess you could say. Obviously, we know Rhea Ripley's a huge fan of the terrifying movies, and tonight Rhea might be channeling a little bit of Art the Clown herself to get this matchup won. As Rhea now hoisting Raquel up on her shoulders, looking for an electric chair. Face buster. And Rhea again, not going for the pinfall. Knows it's going to take more than that to put away Raquel Rodriguez here tonight. Or maybe she just wants to inflict more punishment to Raquel Rodriguez. I think it might be the second option. Think about if it wasn't for Raquel jumping Rhea in the parking lot, hitting that Honor Bomb into the concrete and sending it into the car door, etc., then Rhea would have not been out injured for the past 8 months. Rhea would have been able to compete. As Raquel catches her with a huge clothesline there, right across the face of that one. And Raquel with a huge shot there to the back of Rhea Ripley. As Raquel Rodriguez now looking for a huge clothesline, but Rhea out the way, but gets it for the second time. And Raquel now of Rhea send it into the corner and does so again there. And Raquel into again just repeatedly drive Rhea face first into the steel. Might be looking to bust up from Rhea Ripley here. And Raquel is saying that you're going down Rhea here tonight, as Raquel fires him with a huge form to the face and one to the back of the head. And Raquel now maybe looking to put this one away here. Looking forward to Honor Bomb. Rhea Ripley with a PTSD of this maneuver onto the concrete. She hits it, middle of the ring, stacks her up. But Rhea kicks at 2.5 there somehow. But Rhea back again into that corner. And Raquel Rodriguez again driving Rhea face first. I think she just busted open Rhea Ripley. Yes, she has. A blood sign support for the face of Rhea Ripley. Now both of these women busted open in this matchup. There's Rhea now dangling upside down, and Raquel Rodriguez is smiling at her there. Just drives her knee into the midsection there. You saw that crowd starting to say Mummy's back, but Mummy may be back on the shelf after this matchup here. As Rhea's not looking great here. As Raquel is just looking relentless here. This is the new side of Raquel we've seen since joining forces with the rest of since basically joining the Judgment Day with Liv Morgan, and more darker, more relentless side of Raquel Rodriguez is again just launching Rhea Ripley around the ring here into the exposed steel of the steel cage again there. And Rhea writhing in agony there, the blood pouring from her face. And a knee across the jaw again there. Maybe across the wound as well. It's Raquel Rodriguez now. What's she thinking next there? With Rhea in the corner. What's Raquel thinking next there? With Raquel Rodriguez. And Rhea Ripley up above her shoulders here. Fireman's carry this deep into the matchup. Drops her down there. Or I should say military press there. And we'll straight for Raquel Rodriguez and show her that one. The crash and this is awesome. This matchup has been incredible. As Rhea though catches the kick. And Rhea turns her around here. Grabs it into a German suplex on Rhea Ripley. How is Rhea still going in this one here? For all intents and purposes, Rhea should be out. Rhea should be done. As Rhea now again sending Raquel into the steel. And Rhea now, what's she thinking there? Rhea just stalking her opponent here as Raquel Rodriguez is down on the mat here with some repeated headbutts to Raquel Rodriguez right there. And Rhea now, what's she thinking next? Rhea Ripley with another German suplex to Raquel Rodriguez. And Rhea now again getting Raquel back to her feet here and driving it again into the steel face first. As Rhea now going top rope here. What's Rhea thinking next? Rhea looking for a frog splash to maybe put this one away. But Raquel somehow kicks out. We've got to be thinking Raquel's fighting not only for herself but also for Liv Morgan. If Rhea wins it tonight, then she's going to be facing Liv Morgan for that World Heavyweight Championship, you've got to imagine, pretty soon. As Rhea has some huge shots here, but Rhea again dropping face first into that steel as like Raquel again saying that you're going to go down to Rhea Ripley as like Rhea with some repeated back elbows in the corner. And Rhea's in a bad way here at the mercy of Raquel Rodriguez, dropping a huge elbow there to Rhea Ripley. As Raquel, what's she thinking next? Raquel hoists up Rhea Ripley here, maybe thinking for a huge suplex, but Rhea slips at the back, chops the leg. And Rhea, a huge super kick again there. Going down deep into the well. This Rhea Ripley this deep into the matchup. As Rhea now in the corner has Raquel Rodriguez. And flies with a huge boot to the face. You can imagine that this one is on its way to being over here pretty soon as Rhea. What's she thinking? That's Rhea looking for the head, but Raquel Rodriguez catches her there. And Rhea ducks it, hoists her up on the shoulders. Drops it down actually there. Then hoists her up onto the shoulders of Rhea. Back into a ground and pound here on Raquel Rodriguez. What a matchup we're seeing in this steel cage matchup. As you can see the blood pouring from both of his faces this deep into the matchup here. As Rhea was saying that this one has been easy here tonight. As Rhea, Raquel out the way, and Rhea met with a huge boot. Well, Rhea needs to stay focused in this matchup because Raquel is not going to let Rhea win this one easily here tonight. Well, I say easily, it's been a hellacious matchup as Rhea in a bad way, but Raquel might have been to hold the bottom, but Rhea catches her, and Rhea now, middle of the ring, blood pouring from her face, riptide. But Rhea isn't done. Rhea looks to put the exclamation point, the undeniable ending on this one. as Rhea sets Raquel on the top rope. This one is more of a message to Liv Morgan, who may be inevitably facing Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship pretty soon, as Rhea blood pouring from her face with a avalanche riptide. A second riptide in a row. And Rhea Ripley, the Brutality Tour is coming to a conclusion, and that one is not one that Liv Morgan wants to see, and that is Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for, well, what Rhea believes her Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Think about, Rhea was a champion for a long time, facing people like Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, many great competitors who stepped up, but Rhea kept winning and getting better and better, and it wasn't up until the Judgment Day betrayed Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, screwed her out of the title on the grandest stage of them all, day done, betraying her, turning to Liv Morgan's side, and Liv Morgan cheated to winning that matchup. Now it took all of that to get the title from Rhea Ripley. Then the next night on Raw, Rhea came to the arena looking to get revenge, and then she was met by this woman, Raquel Rodriguez, in the parking lot. It's a Honda bomb onto the concrete after a brutal assault in the parking lot. Saw Rhea be put on a shelf for 8 whole months. And what we just saw in this matchup was 8 months of cathartic revenge for Rhea Ripley against Raquel Rodriguez. Both women busted open. Neither woman realistically wins this matchup in a physical state. They leave it. But in terms of the column, and this is at the end of it, Rhea Ripley is a W, Raquel Rodriguez is an L. That's all that matters right now for Rhea Ripley, that she keeps putting away the people that have wronged her on her way to getting back to Liv Morgan and her Women's World Heavyweight Championship. You can imagine after this victory right here, the avalanche riptide off the top rope at a hellacious steel cage match. Both women busted up and both women bleeding badly in this one. You can imagine that Rhea is one step away from once again becoming Women's World Heavyweight Champion. The question is, when will she get a revenge on Liv Morgan? That is the question on everyone's mind right now as we end winning that Raw.